We last saw the brave magic knights take on the newly reincarnated elves, and the capital is thrown into chaos. Fugolian has awakened from his coma, a sorely needed boost for the Clover Kingdom. Meanwhile, Mereoleona stands alone against the powered-up elves. But make no mistake, she's not trapped in there with them, they're trapped in there with her. However, the 5-against-1 odds still favor her. The elves think Mereoleona is overconfident, however they become frustrated that their attacks seem to be easily repelled. But Mereoleona begins to feel the pressure as their spells begin to take their toll on her ability to fight back. Left with no other choice, she decides to use her strongest spell called Purgatory, blasting the entire area in searing hot flames. When the dust settles, the 5 elves are still standing but have taken a great deal of damage. In her typical badass fashion, Mereoleona passes out while standing. Even in her bad state, she still tells them to come and get some. Raya and the others oblige her, but Asta and Zora unexpectedly return. Using a plan Asta cooked up earlier, they gamble on all 5 of them firing an attack, a gamble which pays off. They fire back their own spells against them, giving them a window to escape. However, Raya catches up to them and grabs Asta, who reassures Zora that he will definitely make it back. Meanwhile, Mimosa tries to escape from her comrades turned enemies, but she is promptly captured and placed on a cross. Asta drops from above, who is reluctant to fight his friends, but to his horror, he sees that Yuno too is an elf. Yami tells Finral that a large number of their former allies have incarnated into elves and have now become their enemies. Elsewhere, Vanessa visits Magna, still training hard after being passed over for the Royal Knights. He continues to be plagued by feelings of inferiority and wants to set a good example for his juniors in the Black Bulls. Meanwhile, Asta fights against Klaus and Hammond and asks Yuno to come to his senses. As Klaus and Hammond attack him, Yuno is reminded of his promise with Asta and regains control of his mind and body. He defends Asta with a gust of wind and prepares to fight alongside his rival. Raya is surprised that Yuno was able to wrest control from the elf spell and murmurs that the awakening is not yet complete. Klaus and Hammond are unfazed and combine their spells into a massive moving fortress, but Asta enters his demon mode while Yuno uses his spirit dive, and they smash through the spell, destroying it in one go. Licht lifts his defeated comrades to safety and personally enters the battle. Licht picks up the Demon Destroyer sword, and before Asta can react, Licht instantly closes the gap and steals the Demon Dweller sword from him. Licht's speed is blinding, giving Yuno and Asta little breathing room as they desperately try to withstand the onslaught. Asta is eventually overwhelmed and is blasted through several cavern walls and into an underground lake, leaving Yuno to fend for himself. He blasts Licht with Spirit Storm, but he simply absorbs it using the Demon Dweller sword, firing it right back at him. All the while, Mimosa contemplates her own uselessness. Yuno finally finds an opening using Mana Zone that pins down Licht in the sky, allowing Asta, who has once again broken past his limits, to ram straight into him. They unleash a combined attack that even leaves Raya impressed. However, it is still not enough. Licht simply blocks it with the sword and unleashes a powerful Nova, blasting everything around him. Licht's devastating attack leaves a giant crater in its wake. They are soon joined by the other elf incarnates, and after exchanging pleasantries, they head for the royal capital on their flying fortress. Fortunately, Asta, Yuno, and Mimosa survive the attack and regroup with Zora along with the still unconscious Mereoleona. Nozel, Noel, and Kirsch soon arrive one after the other and all report having encountered the elves. They cautiously eye Yuno, but he is just built different as he's able to resist the ancient reincarnation magic. Nozel uses a magic tool that slowly heals the injured magic knights. Nozel receives an alert from one of his squad members that the royal capital is also up in flames at the hands of the elf incarnates. Noel points out that Luck's lightning spells did not hit her, and that she managed to escape him despite Luck being famed for his speed. She hypothesizes that if Yuno is able to resist the spell, the others can too. With the goal of rescuing their friends, they make plans to head to the capital at once. Meanwhile, Hage Village observes the elf castle float by above them, and they are attacked by one of the elf incarnate magic knights who begins slowly poisoning them. Asta and Yuno notice Hage being attacked, and Nozel allows them to defend it. Noel wants to go as well, but Nozel says he needs her with him, a far cry from when he told Noel she was useless. As the villagers are dying, Sister Lily puts up a desperate last stand against the far superior elf knight. Wanting to emulate Asta's courage, Nash performs a banzai attack. Just as all hope seems lost, Asta and Yuno descend from the heavens prepared to defend their hometown. Asta and Yuno defend against the elf knight's plant magic, but significant damage has been done to the village and many have been poisoned or impaled on vines. Sister Lily and the children watch as the two of them defend their village. They reminisce about how they would always look forward to Asta and Yuno's letters, and their exploits are proud to see them grow. Asta notices that Father Orsi continues to writhe in pain and leaves Yuno to fight on his own for now. But to Asta's surprise, not even his Demon Slayer sword can dispel the magic, as the effects are no longer from the spell, but from the poison itself. As he recalls all the time Father Orsi has been there for him, a new sword emerges from his grimoire, which he recognizes as the same one Licht used in their earlier battle, and with nothing to lose he grabs it. A rush of magic streams through Asta and he yelps out in pain. He manages to compose himself and begins undoing all the poison throughout town, including Father Orsi. The magic elf is confused as ever, as Asta is using a sword that only Licht should have, while Yuno, who is supposedly under the same reincarnation spell as him, is still bound to a human will. He remembers the injustice committed against the elvish race and is filled with hatred. Asta and Yuno realize he is suffering deep inside and decide to save him. Using Yuno's winds as a springboard, Asta stabs him with his new sword, negating the reincarnation spell. With this great power they can take the fight to the elves. The children, Lily and Orsi, rush to thank Asta and Yuno for their help.
Asta proposes to Sister Lily once more, but she promptly shuts him down with a water spell.
However, their business is not yet finished and they resolve to protect the kingdom. Meanwhile, King Augustus is informed about the chaos in the capital, and upon learning that Julius is not present, he plots to take the spotlight for himself. However, when he hears that the Magic Knights and even several captains are the ones attacking them, he panics. After Asta and Yuno explain the current situation to Orsi and the others, Digit, the Magic Knight they were fighting earlier, reveals that the elf who possessed him earlier was a gentle soul and had no intention of fighting. They decide to return to defend the capital and they take Digit with them. As they leave, Orsi and Lily bid them farewell and look to them as the hope of the Clover Kingdom. Meanwhile, Magna and Vanessa, still oblivious to the state of the nation, spot the floating castle floating above them. Luck then decides to have some fun and descends upon a nearby town. Likewise, Asta and Yuno sense two areas with high concentrations of mana, and Digit suspects a Magic Knight attacking civilians is the cause. They decide to split up to help both at once and agree to meet later at the royal capital. Luck descends on the town and begins to cause mayhem. Magna and Vanessa respond to the chaos and are surprised to find Luck laying waste to the town. The elf possessing Luck introduces himself as Lufulu and tells them that Luck is no more. Vanessa quickly gets a grasp of the situation and surmises that Luck is under the effects of reincarnation magic, while Magna realizes that the assault on the Midnight Sun base failed. Lufulu tries to attack Magna, but he ends up hitting nothing but air thanks to Rogue's powers over fate. Magna and Vanessa work together to try and stop Lufulu. Magna's fire scatter shots fail to find their mark, but they are successful in pressuring Lufulu despite the difference in their speed. Magna finally gets up close and personal with Lufulu, grabbing onto him to ensure he doesn't escape. In a completely nuts move, Magna blows himself up alongside Lufulu, greatly injuring them both. Magna binds Lufulu and talks at length about his bonds with Luck. Lufulu simply laughs as a lightning bolt descends from the sky, exponentially increasing his power, but this burst catches Asta's attention. Lufulu's speed has increased 100-fold, and Magna only narrowly avoids being instantly killed thanks to Rogue. However, the two are soon overwhelmed, with Lufulu correctly guessing that using Rogue takes an enormous amount of magic. As he prepares to deliver the final blow, Rogue uses the last of its power to carry Asta to the battle. Lufulu's confidence in his speed is shaken when Asta miraculously keeps up with him, aided by his Kai senses and the Demon Destroyer sword. His lightning bolts are effortlessly swatted away, but he eventually gets a bead on Asta's speed, and the fight soon becomes one-sided. With Vanessa and Magna's support, a huge dust cloud kicks up, obscuring Lufulu's vision. He simply extends the range of his magic and pinpoints Asta's location in the smoke. However, thanks to Vanessa's strings, Lufulu messes up the timing and Asta lands the first blow of the fight. With Vanessa and Magna's help, Asta pins down Lufulu to undo the reincarnation spell, but he resists with all his might as thunder crackles around them. Lufulu's hatred is overwhelming, and he threatens to blow himself up, just as Digit did earlier. Deep inside, Luck's soul speaks with his mother, and although he wishes to be with her forever, he has unfinished business in the real world. As the reincarnation spell becomes undone, Lufulu suddenly smiles, and wishes they could have been friends in another time. As Luck returns to his old self, he breaks down in tears and asks if he is still a Black Bull, prompting Magna to embrace him, ensuring him that he is still one of them. Magna and Vanessa are horrified to learn that Luck's case is not an isolated incident but is happening all over the Clover Kingdom. They plan to return to the capital, but decide to stop by the Black Bull's base to regroup with the others. Luck, who is able to recall and use Lufulu's magic, is now stronger than ever and personally carries everyone back to the base, which they find in ruins. Among the rubble, they are relieved to see Gordon and Gray unharmed. Magna is puzzled to see Henry, and after his magic is suddenly drained, Asta explains that he is one of the Black Bull's oldest members. However, they are disheartened to learn that Ghosh has also become an elf incarnate. Charmy returns, who is seemingly also an elf. However, she is just very angry that her garden was destroyed, and swears to eliminate the elves and Midnight Sun. Learning that their magic has been drained, she uses her cotton magic to prepare a feast for them to restore their powers. While eating, they get each other up to speed on other developments that they have missed since they separated. Henry, now recovered, reassembles the Black Bull's base into its mecha form, and the Black Bulls march onto the capital, ready to rescue the kingdom. They charge toward the capital aboard the raging Black Bull. Luck senses that in the nearby town of Hecario, there are 3 magic knights, Riseka, Xerx, and Protobe, who have all been possessed by elves. They rush headfirst into Hecario and not even a wall can stop them. They breach the earth wall and immediately, Vanessa, Charmy, and Grey work to rescue the civilians. Riseka and Protobe's attacks seem unable to touch the bulls, thanks to the fate-altering powers of Rogue. Magna, Gordon, and Luck use the cannons mounted to fire off their magic against the enemy mages. Before the enemy can fire off their spell, they fire the Asta cannon, sending him to cancel their magic and undoing the reincarnation spell. Asta raises his sword triumphantly and declares that the Black Bulls are invincible. Elsewhere, William recalls how Patry first reincarnated in his soul at 16. Sympathetic with his pain and suffering, he allowed him to reside within his body, acknowledging the importance of his mission. Inevitably, their twin goals would eventually come into conflict with one another. As Patali, under the name of Licht, came to lead the Midnight Sun and the ultimate death of Julius, he begins to regret leading the double life, which led to deaths of his friends. Patali assumes complete control of William's body, and he says goodbye to his one and only human friend. Raids, who was able to awaken his magic while at death's door, resurrects himself, Sally, and Voltos using his magic. He swears revenge on Licht for using and betraying him. He teleports the 3 of them to where the Black Bulls are and attempts to strike a bargain. In exchange for teleporting them to the capital, they will assist him in exacting revenge on Licht. Asta headbutts him and calls his whole idea of revenge stupid, while performing a variety of wrestling moves on him. Sally and Voltos agree to help, the former wishing to hear the truth from Licht, while Sally just wants to perform experiments, especially on Asta. Charmy restores their energy with her food, and everyone starts eating again. Without any options left, Raids agrees to go to the capital with them, and joins in the feast. King Augustus is fuming about Langris' involvement in the attacks on the capital, calling the Vaude family treasonous. He then considers Langris' marriage to his daughter, Finesse, null and void. A guard tries to tell him about the situation in the capital, but he ignores him. Meanwhile, Langris possessed by the elf Latry and Ledoil possessed by the elf Kivin split up to invade the royal house castles, slaughtering the castle guards. They leave behind a screening force of 4 mages which face off against Yami and Finral. The pair have great difficulty surmounting the massive magic power of the 4 elves, but unexpected reinforcements come in the form of Jack the Ripper. Jack's severing magic appears ineffective against one of the elves, who has encased himself in tough armor. Yami continues to be kept at bay, and it takes all that he has just to detect their Kai. Suddenly, Jack's severing magic finally cuts through the armor, startling one of the elves and giving Yami a window to defeat them all in quick succession. Jack praises Finral's support ability, but Yami tells him to back off, as Finral is his convenient ride. Inside the castle, Kivin slaughters several maids and nobles as she advances throughout the Silva castle. Meanwhile, Solid is still frustrated that he was defeated by Noel, while Nebra says she probably just got lucky. Kivin bursts into their room, and promptly impales Nebra with a compass needle. Outside, Nozel and the other royal knights finally arrive, where they are greeted by Yami, Jack, and Finral. Yami does not seem to recognize Zora at first, but remarks that it is about time that he join the Black Bulls. Jack and Yami join forces and enter another castle, leaving Nozel, Noel, and Zora to recapture the Silva castle. Zora soon leaves them, reluctant to cooperate with the nobles he loathes. They race to the top of the tower, just in time to rescue Solid, whose spells fail to penetrate Kivin's dense magic field. To his surprise, Noel's Sea Dragon's roar manages to punch through the field, forcing Kivin to redirect it with her magic. Nebra is likewise surprised that Noel was able to muster such a powerful spell, but Kivin remains unfazed and casts another Atlas, destabilizing the magic all around her, causing their magic to become erratic. However, Kivin's own magic is unaffected, as her needles still find their mark on Nozel's arm. Noel remarks that she can still fight, and Nozel invites her to fight alongside him, now recognizing and acknowledging her power. Months prior, Nozel tells Noel she will be assigned to the Black Bulls, known as the worst of the worst, stuck doing meaningless fetch quests. Back in the present, Noel and Nozel show their bravado, but neither are able to cast any meaningful magic in the erratic chaos of another Atlas. Noel gets a reckless idea, and with Nozel's help, she floods the entire chamber with water, forcing Kivin to undo her spell. As she does, Nozel captures her and encases her in mercury. As the dust settles, Nozel acknowledges Noel's power, even if it was not befitting of a noble. He reveals that he had always cared for her, and because he was the spitting image of his mother, he refused to lose her too. He always meant to keep her as far away from danger as possible, which is the reason why he assigned her to the Black Bulls to begin with. He admits he was wrong, as she has grown to be a powerful young woman, and he apologizes. Suddenly, compass needles stab him from behind as Kivin has yet to be defeated. Caught in another vortex, Noel racks her brain for a spell to cast, and she is hit with a sudden flash of genius. She covers herself in the Valkyrie dress, reminiscent of her mother's old signature spell. Now granted new power, she effortlessly glides through the chaotic barrier, deflecting Kivin's barrage of needles. She finally closes the gap, but as Kivin attempts to turn her magic erratic again, Noel explains that her magic allows her to control the mana of anything it touches, including Kivin's. With a drill that pierces the heavens, Noel defeats Kivin. However, Noel is granted only a moment of rest as other elf mages soon arrive. As a fireball nearly hits her, it is sent back by Azora's trap magic, eliminating one of them right off the bat. He accosts Nozel for failing to protect his own family, prompting him to get back up, filling the gaping holes in his body with his mercury magic. Zora gives them both the knowledge of where his traps are, allowing them to bait the enemies into them. Zora keenly observes that the elves appear unaware of his trap magic and how it works. He remarks that human magic was meticulously studied, tested, and experimented with over hundreds of years, and the elves have no answer to its ingenuity as they are systematically dismantled by their combined might. As the humans begin their counterattack against the elves, this brings the anime to an end. Thanks for watching part 10. If you want a part 11, comment below. And until next time guys, take care.